What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Coach Potatoes podcast. Anthony, TJ. Right now we're rocking two potatoes in a sack. Potato sack. Ben Stick. He sounds like Christopher Walken. Something wrong with his throat. So rocking two sack potatoes. All right. Title game was last night. The Saban-Tooth Tiger came up hella short against the Clemson Tigers.
He went extinct.
The Saber-Tooth Tigers went extinct. Yeah. What was the score? 44
to 16, man. They got worked.
Clobbering.
Absolutely worked, man. Kudos to Clemson. You know, I forgot who I was talking to about it, but the college football world was kind of weird because it's basically like there's a lot of good teams, and then there was Clemson and Alabama. It was like even though there was the Georgias and the Ohio States and Oklahomas and all these teams, I feel like it was always kind of clear cut that Ohio State that Alabama and Clemson were pretty much the clear cut favorites pretty much all year long, and they deserved to go round 4 in the title game. I just don't think anybody expected that Clemson would just come out and just steamroll them.
Yeah, because those two favorites for sure, but for me it was Clemson, Bama, and yeah, you can't see my hand exactly, and I was wrong. I was seriously wrong. Literally, what Clemson did to Bama, so everyone thought Bama was going to do to Clemson.
Yeah,
in
pretty
that
much.
Their defense would just lock them down, and just the offense would just be able to ground and pound it. Tua can get those big plays. Pretty much every other Bama game.
Yeah,
and that did not happen.
What was interesting is that Bama had to have set some type of record for amount of yards gained with no points. Because if you look at them like yardage wise, they were fucking shredding them. It's like they went for like over 300 in the air, like 150 on the ground. Like statistically, yardage wise, they did awesome. I can point wise, crap.
Yeah, because I can remember 2 times in the red zone they went for it on 4th and didn't get it.
Well,
and that's
yeah.
why.
I think probably the most comical moment of the whole game was that fake field goal, where Clemson literally did not even put more than 2 guys on the line. They were just like, "Yeah, you guys are gonna fake it. We know you are." And then Bama's like, "They'll never see this one coming. We're gonna put our slow ass backup quarterback or whoever he is with the kicker as his lead blocker. Like, go get him, boys."
All the Clemson Tigers are like, what are they gonna do? that had no shot.
That was the worst thing. One of the worst play calls I've ever seen. And to see it come from somebody like Saban, it was like, really? That's what you guys dialed up?
As much for as you went on 4th and at the field position, like he went it once on his own 35.
Yep.
I was like, you playing Madden? I mean, I know you're in it to win, but you gotta save some face.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta just stop the bleeding a little bit. Well, granted, that one he did get. They got a few. But like I said, the ones in the red zone they did not get, and that led to 0 points.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence looked fantastic. I think Clemson's got a lot to look forward to for the next couple of years with him at the helm.
My God.
A true freshman to unseat a senior, a few games into the season.
Oh, no.
To take the starting role and then to light it up like he has. Herb Street was talking about it a lot during the game. Kind of the difference between last year and this year was that Clemson did not have the vertical passing game last year with Deshaun Watson or no, not Deshaun Watson. Whatever the kid's name was last year.
Watson was 2 years ago.
Yeah. They did not have the vertical passing game to be able to beat him. And so Bama could sit, 8 in the box and not have to worry about anything going over the top. Mm-hmm. This year, Lawrence can sling. And there was a few plays where he just goes right over the top. He was dropping dimes. Some back shoulder fades, down the sideline. Justin Ross, that freshman wide receiver, so they got 2 freshmen that would just absolutely lit it up on the biggest stage against the best team, or what was widely considered the best team all year long.
And one of them was considered to go to Alabama.
Yep.
And he chose Clemson. That line, though, the offensive line, kudos to them. I don't think they gave up a single sack. I could be wrong.
Bama's defensive line, as touted as it is, didn't do shit.
Yep.
All game long, man. All game. So Clemson did. They played a textbook game, and they made all the right calls at all the right times. And it was a little questionable to run some of the play calls they did kind of later in the game in the 4th quarter with Lawrence doing the quarterback keepers. It's like
0 sacks.
It's like don't do that. Like he's your future.
Yeah.
You're already up 30. Like there's no need to make him take that punishment. But I respect the toughness at least. He's willing to do it put his body out there, even though he's already won the game for his team, let him do a title. But
well, I mean, I definitely liked that they didn't let off the gas, right? I don't care if you're up by 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. This is Alabama, and they can just we've seen it all year from Tua. In a heartbeat, they can score. So while I agree, protect your future, you cannot let off that gas pedal.
Very true. Yeah, and they didn't. Clemson made it very clear as soon as they got a lead that they were looking to make sure that they did not lose it. And so, that was a well-played game. They did exactly what they needed to do.
Apparently, Tua had not faced, I guess I don't want to say not a good defense, but a smart defense, because they outsmarted him left and right. The safety was faking him out, whether it was on a blitz or whether it was in coverage. He would fake like he's blitzing, go out in coverage. He would fake like Tua faked him, and he was, nope, right there in coverage for a pick.
He made some really bad reads in that game.
He did.
The pick six, the first score of the game, was a terrible read by Tua. That corner's just sitting there, but they're both in man-to-man, and dude's not even watching his receiver. He's just looking at Tua, and Tua's just staring down the receiver right there in the slot. Yeah, and he's like, so he just jumps the route and takes it to the house. The second pick was just an airmail. He tried to take a deep ball, overthrew him by 5 yards, and the defensive back was just like, thank you, I'll take that. And he definitely he made some uncharacteristic mistakes for him. Tried to do a little too much with his legs at times, when if he would have picked his head up and looked downfield, he had some guys open that could have extended some drives for him. So Clemson did what they had to do. They disrupted his timing. They got a lot of pressure, a lot of hands in his face, a lot of hands up to contest the throws. So he's going to put a little more height on it than you'd want, which makes it more difficult for the receivers to haul it in. That was just a well-played game. Clemson had some seniors that, forewent the draft to come back for a potential national title, and they got it. So kudos to all of them. They just put basically every position for Clemson.
There might be
what they needed to do.
Tad off topic. I mean, it's still on the emphasis on your players coming back for a championship. Imagine if all the college sports. I mean, okay, first two to come to mind: basketball, football. If a lot of them did that, there would be some gnarly teams out there. If these guys weren't just out for the money, can't blame them. But if they wanted to come back, play for a championship, you could have something like Clemson. Or I'm sure they made a big difference with that veteran presence.
Oh yeah.
That hunger. They lost them last year, so I'm sure they were like, no way in hell.
Well, there was a stat. It was like the last 4 years, both teams are 55-4 with 2 national titles apiece. Clemson and Bama.
Yeah.
It was like, will we see a rubber match? Round 5, see who takes the best of 5 series next year.
Tua's gonna be there, and Lawrence ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, they got.
He'll leave the first year he's able to. I know at the post game he was talking about hopefully 3 more. Insinuating he's gonna stay for his senior year. Get your money if you're doing this good this year and you continue that. Go get your money, young fella. You don't need to hurt yourself.
Oh, if he continues the type of stats that he was putting up, and the shortened season that he played, that he led his team to a national title winning, who knows what he's going to do with a couple of full seasons under his belt.
And actually, if he continues this momentum, and obviously we've seen that they're not scared to take away the Heisman from who I thought clearly should have won it, Tua, he could win the Heisman next year.
Yeah.
Haskins will be gone. Murray will be gone. You just got Tua. I'm sure there's some other guy out there I'm not thinking of, but you got a national title. I'm sure you're going to be in contention for a Heisman in the next 2 years if he continues to do well. And I mean, who really gave them a challenge? Bama couldn't do it. Bama couldn't even give them a challenge.
Yeah, to be fair, they did. I think the only game that they had that was even close was Syracuse. And they had to get a late fourth quarter drive from their freshman backup to squeak out a win there. Granted, Syracuse ended up being a lot better than anybody anticipated. They ended up being pretty highly ranked. Beat West Virginia in their bowl game. So that was really kind of the only scare that Clemson had all season. But outside of that, they pretty much ran a train on everybody they played.
Yeah, I'm curious to see now how they do once they have that senior turnover when they all leave now.
Yeah.
Because now I'm sure that's going to be maybe a slightly higher percentage that leaves since a lot of them stayed.
Right.
But hey, with Lawrence at the helm, you just put pieces around him and you're good to go.
Yeah, well, I mean, so what? You got your freshman quarterback, your star wide receiver who was also a freshman this year.
Yeah, no, the true freshman.
Yeah, so
number 8.
And then Clemson, obviously, like Bama, one of the reasons why they've been able to be so good for this many years, always in the playoff, always in contention for a title, is their recruiting. They're going to lose a lot of their senior guys and leadership and a lot of talented people. They got a whole slew of 5-star guys coming in, that just committed, that are going to be coming in and filling in those gaps. So yes, they're going to need some time to get acclimated, but when you recruit the elite level talent that these guys, that these guys are recruiting, there's only a smidge of a fall off. A lot of it's just working out the timing, working with the new guys you haven't played with before. So I saw today the way too early odds for next year's title. Clemson is the favorite. Bama's a second.
Shocker. Whoa, so, who would have thought?
Yeah, the odds makers really took a gamble.
Yeah.
But
Notre Dame.
So we'll see. I'm excited to see what Trevor Lawrence can do because, man, that kid can sling it. They said, I remember reading a random stat, that he has a higher velocity on his throw than any pro quarterback currently.
Jesus.
So
when he comes out 2 years, hey, Jared Goff doesn't pan out. We'll sign you.
So we'll see how he goes. But, yeah, a great ending to a great college football season.
And on Tua's end, I mean, I felt bad for him all for about 5 seconds until I realized he won a national championship last year. And I was like, you got one more year, dude. You'll probably be back.
Yeah, obviously they're going to be in contention. They're just too good. Their system just works too well. So I think there's a high probability we'll be seeing probably this exact matchup next year.
Seeing those two in the playoffs, first of all.
At the very least in the playoffs, if not the title game. If it goes like every season's gone where they're the 1 and the 2 seed, that means obviously they're not going to play each other in the first round. So, and it's just kind of looked like a 2-horse race every year. It's like, oh, there's some good teams. Maybe this is the team that's going to knock them off. No. What was also interesting that I saw, so I think the playoffs been in play for 5 years now.
Has it really been 5 years?
And the number 1 team has never won the title.
That's funny.
It's like it always ends up being like the 2 that gets it done.
Bama was 4.
So we'll see. We'll see if they do make the tweaks and stuff that a lot of people are pushing for, like the 8-team format and stuff like that. Obviously, we talked about that that length.
But that's definitely going to be something that they announce years prior.
Oh yeah, I think they still have like 4 years on this current deal with like the current system or something like that. So I think it's going to be down the line. Of course, if we see a change to the format. But I hope they do entertain it because I would like to see an 8-team playoff.
Well, and actually, I was thinking about it more. Like, I hope they do because I was watching. So there's 4 BCS bowls, right? Like the main ones: your Rose, Sugar, Orange.
There's 5
and Tostitos.
Fiesta.
Yeah, the Fiesta Bowl. Which other one?
Fiesta, Rose, Sugar, Orange, Peach. Was it 5? I think those were the 5.
Was there 5?
Main.
Well, regardless, but only 2 of them were used for the playoffs. So watching the other 2, like the Rose Bowl, Georgia and Texas, great game. But at the end of the day, I was like, when these teams are in the playoffs, like to me, I feel like that diminishes that bowl. And it might not have been the Rose, might have been something else. But it diminished it, and I was kind of like, I want them to include an 18 playoff and have those major bowls as those first games.
Right.
Because I looked at it and I was like, now no one cares about this bowl this year because, well, granted, unless you're a fan of that team, but the rest of us, I was like, no, playoffs. No, I don't. What's my incentive to watch this big bowl?
Right.
That usually I like watching because they're good teams, and they were still good teams. But for me, I was like, so where do they go from here? They don't go to playoffs.
Yeah. Well,
they're not in the playoffs.
I think that was one of the only, somewhat upsides of the old system, with the BCS, is all those bowls carried some weight. There was some clout between, on being in the Rose Bowl, you're in the Orange Bowl, you're in the Sugar Bowl, you're in the Fiesta Bowl.
Because now, but are you in the playoffs? That's what I thought.
Yeah. So, and obviously they just kind of rotated whichever one of the major 5 bowls was going to be the title game.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'm curious to see what happens there. So, great season. Looking forward to the next one.